What happened was we were staring at the mangroves. I was sitting on the dock with my buddy Chuck, staring over at the mangroves, right? And like, why don't we make a mangrove camp? Explored the thought for years, had a couple different company names, sat on it probably for about 3 years, and then in 2015 we started Mang LLC. We incorporated our Buy One Plant One initiative as a way to give back. Keith and I, we never wanted to do anything without there being some important message behind it. You know, the world needs more people to step up and to give back.
Just buying a house gets snakes. But I gotta be honest, now like the black razors, I don't
Keith and I, we grew up in South Florida, right? Born right here on this property. Never been in another house in our lives. It's been a really neat place to grow up. We've seen it change a lot due to more people coming to the state, realizing that's such a beautiful place, and the economy has just boomed. Anywhere you go in Palm Beach County now, you even go over to Lee County, and you can see a lot of change that's happened. And all that change has put pressure on our natural resources.
Our love for fishing turned into a brand. And Mang was founded on what we call mangrove camo or mangrove. And mangrove was the start and the essence of, let's create a camo that's for saltwater fishermen that can tie back to the mangroves. And our give was simple. It was like, well, we're doing a mangrove camouflage. Why not do a buy one, plant one program that plants a mangrove so that we could show the physical act of actually planting one mangrove for every product sold. Keith loves trees, so ultimately that tied right to where he was going in life. And we were able to use his information on how to grow, my interpreted lens on business, turned into this truly cool brand that just kept kind of growing and continuing to be blessed. We don't know how we're really here today, besides hard work, patience, and persistence. Just like mangroves, they're stubborn trees. They don't like to go anywhere, right? They continue to make foothold and grab more ground and learn new things along the way. The adolescence of Mang was founded around love for fishing, creating a cool camouflage, was turned into a love to produce apparel for customers with cool designs, drawing in the family. Our Aunt Sherry's doing all the drawings, right? She created the first fish and she has evolved as well. So we've all kind of pulled up different pieces of our abilities and actually meshed them into an ecosystem where everyone's really serving different purposes.
What's happened here in Palm Beach County is we've had what used to be a freshwater lagoon. That lagoon 100 years ago had one natural influx of salt water up in Jupiter. They opened that lagoon up as a way for us to have more of a navigable port and for trade. Not that that destroyed the ecosystem, but it definitely altered it forever.
One of the big questions we get asked all the time, why mangroves? Well, we identified that mangroves were on the decline in South Florida due to coastal development, mismanaged lands, and cutoff of hydrology. All these factors were basically compounding against mangrove and mangrove health. We still have challenges today. We still have a lot of hurdles we have to come over to maintain what we have left of our mangrove ecosystems here in South Florida. And each year we see larger and larger storms. We see more impacts to our coastline, and we're continuing to be berated with challenges that continue to compound against us. So the Mang brand really stands as a stronghold and a keystone for the mangrove ecosystem. As we're a brand here to stay, we're going to recognize that mangroves are in dire need of our help. Our whole goal here is to preserve Florida, continue to drive impact, build a community of people that care, and educate the crap out of people so that we don't have loss of mangroves. We only have an increase in a robustness of our ecosystems.
They're not only buying a product, right? You're not getting just a sweet ass shirt. You're getting a cool trucker hat, a cool high performance truck.
Instead of cursing, like you have a college mouth and you curse all the time.
I don't think sweet ass is a bad word.
Sweet ass.
Moral story.
Okay.
Whatever.
2016, Keith and I were 24 years old. And as we kind of stepped into the business, we were trying to figure out the metrics of, one, how to sell merchandise. Two, figure out how to grow mangroves at an efficient rate and level. And then three, find products and locations to keep up with the demand of our customers. So as we grew the business, we also had to grow the farm. And the farm had to keep up with the business, right? Buy one, plant one.
So over time, we developed new practices at the nursery. You know, we were originally growing mangroves just on pallets and overhead spraying them with water. But over time, we started to build our ponds. You know, and then we learned some new ways to take care of them and treat them along the way so that it would increase survivorship out in the wild.
Like any relationship, you got to build trust. And when we first started introducing ourselves to Palm Beach County Environmental Resource Management, that trust wasn't built yet. We were just two young guys looking to grow a couple mangroves and put them in the ground. Ultimately, we didn't know where that was going to go when we first started putting mangroves down. But as we gained momentum, as customers continued to support our mission, we kept growing mangroves. Palm Beach County has been doing these islands historically since the early 2000s. We didn't really even know much about the projects, but as we started to get a name and a reputation, we knew that we needed to expand locally. So the easiest avenue we could see was, let's be the squeaky wheel. Let's continue to call consistently saying, hey, we want to plant some mangroves. We want to get involved. So we got invited out to our first event at Bryant Park. It was a great learning experience. We were able to bring out some mangroves of our own, get to see what the county was doing firsthand and how they were creating successful mangrove products throughout the lagoon.
Off the bat, we learned really quickly that mangrove restoration isn't always an easy thing. I think our biggest gut punch that year was really that our first project that we did failed.
With failure comes ultimate learning. What we were seeing was that these small 6-month sapling and seedlings were getting overwashed with water, and that was ultimately causing a lot of the debt that we were dealing with, right? We learned that we needed to scale them up. We knew that they needed more time in the nursery, they needed more cultivation, they need larger sizes to get in and out of the tidal waters. There was also learnings that not every project is built perfectly, and that things can change, like hydrology, boat wakes, and different things can interfere with a project when you go to do restoration. And I think it was just a real learning curve because we're trying to sell apparel, we're trying to plant mangroves, and everything seems to be crumbling on top of itself. And at the whole time, we're trying to build a brand around something that doesn't exist. There was no company out there doing what Keith and I were doing. We were growing our own mangroves, we were finding our own projects, and we were putting a lot of time and energy behind developing a brand and line that people would like. And we had no skill sets and limited resources to do that.
You know, we were a little bit disappointed that the mangroves didn't hold. You know, there were some factors really out of our control, and having those big failures only leads to success in life, and that's the only way that you truly learn, because if you have just success, stacked on success, you know, you're not going to be ready for when those low points come and how you actually walk your way out of them.
Once the island got a redesign and some new sediment placed in, we got a beautiful donation from the West Palm Beach Fishing Club, a tree we called Big Bertha.
Enjoy it. Take a picture.
Big Berthy.
No, I really like it. Where's
Getting
my
planted
next one?
today.
I'm gonna come here the next week.
Look at them roots.
I'm growing my own birthday.
Oh man.
And Big Bertha got her debut on one of the islands, and we threw her on the top of the Maverick. Thing was bow heavy. We rolled into the site. Big Bertha probably had to weigh 150 pounds. And we used 4 guys to do this massive hole, put her in place, and Big Bertha is kicking today. And it's cool to see because you can identify her from the shoreline, which one is her, and to see the leaves start to spread out and for Bertha to gain some height. She's really a victory in a lot of ways for the success of that project site specifically, and then also the other little mangroves that we were able to plant underneath her that are also doing extremely well today.
Palm Beach County URM started to see us as a valuable resource for not only being a mangrove supplier, but for really helping to build the community and increase engagement around these projects that were going on.
As Mang built credibility, the county gave us more opportunities. And some of those opportunities came in the form of grassy flats, Snook Islands, and some other smaller projects throughout the lagoon. And we got to start playing and practicing with different sediment types, different erosion scenarios, different types of habitat. We were planting around Spartina grass. We got to really engage with these islands as small little science projects to gather real day data that has helped to drive the ball for more successful mangrove restoration projects. With all the life and all the success that's come back to the lagoon, the county decided that they wanted to do something bigger.
Good launch, baby.
Over the years, we were starting to build a relationship with Eric Anderson, and instantly Eric reached out to us and says, "Hey, will you be my mangrove supplier for Tarpon Cove?"
Is an area that has experienced a lot of degradation over the years. There was no seagrass, no mangroves. You look around, it's nothing but a hardened seawall. And these islands help reduce the wave energy that will help the seagrasses to grow in the areas that we've brought up the bottom elevation.
Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the results that all our mangroves still got green.
Stack them up, bud. Stack them up.
I don't want my stack to look like some other
What better job does he have, right?
We had to buy all that sand. You're looking at a $17, $18 million just to get the sand to the site. The fun part is planting mangroves. I want to thank Keith and Kyle from Mang, who donated over 900 mangroves here today that they've been growing for 2 years. So I really want to appreciate the donation to the site. I want to thank the West Palm Beach Fishing Club. I want to just thank the community, everybody that's supported this project over the years. So just kind of give yourselves a round of applause. You know.
Thank you, guys.
We successfully activate our first fully fledged restoration project with the county, bringing in different community members and people from the Mang family and tribe, and we were stoked. 2 weeks later, we had another restoration set up to bring in another 600 mangroves for the restoration site. And all of a sudden, COVID-19 hits.
In the past 2 weeks, The number of cases of COVID-19 outside China has increased 13-fold.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus
World Health
officially hitting
Organization
the
has
U.S.
officially
Here's
called
what
it
we know.
COVID-19.
The county no longer has the capability to actually do volunteer projects. We're like out of luck a little bit. We're out of our event season now. Things are changing for us. And then we get a call from the county saying, hey, we can't do volunteer events, but you guys can. So we got the exclusive opportunity to continue to invite our family and tribe out to these islands. We got to do 2 1-acre islands to completion throughout the years of COVID. And we got to invite our community out there and get people out there when, you know, the world was in crisis. We're out there providing life for our lagoon. Ultimately, Tarpon Cove was the life source that kept Mang afloat.
My name is Heather Lutier. I was born and raised here, just a mile from here, and I live very close here in El Cid since 1988, so we've been here a long time. Well, we were curious when we first saw the barges show up 4 years ago, I guess it's been now, and then we're thrilled to hear about the project. It's going to be so good for the environment, and the bird life is so fabulous. We're so happy to see all the birds here, so I think it's a great thing to continue doing.
So Tarpon Cove has really turned into what we call a critical wildlife area. First thing we start seeing is lots of bait fish are starting to congregate around these islands.
Thousands of fiddler crabs just crowding the whole island. We started to see mangrove crabs. And then from there we started to see different types of birds that were amongst the mangroves that were feeding on the crabs.
Florida is unique in a lot of ways, but we are a pathway for many migratory birds to come nest and ultimately raise their young. 3 rare species visit our local lagoon now because of Tarpon Cove. The oyster catcher, the black skimmer, and the least tern. Hundreds of black skimmers that are coming down and swooping on bait fish, and oyster catchers that are trotting along the shoreline. Some of these birds are going to Brazil and back. Internationally traveling, utilizing our local resources, which just amplifies why if we put more habitat into our local lagoons, we're gonna see ecosystem productivity. Ultimately, that increases our ecotourism and makes our lagoon full of life.
And we started planning this island in particular in 2020. To be able to see growth like this is tangible growth, not only for this island, for these mangroves, but actually for our business as a whole. These mangroves are a representation of who we are at Mang, how we've grown over the years, and how these projects are really special to our hearts and special to the places that we grew up. We grew up right down the road here, less than 5 miles up southern. We just started by just growing mangroves in our mom's backyard. And now we have mangroves that are planted on an island in our lagoon, and just seeing the life come in. I mean, there's more bird life than there's ever been. There's more fish life than there's ever been. Years later, seeing them grow up and actually putting prop roots out and stretching out for new life, you can't put dollar signs on that. This is a representation of our company. And to be able to actually put your dreams on the table and actually see them come true is an amazing feeling. And one thing that we like to teach our youth is that you can create something that gives back and is successful and is profitable and ultimately feeds into what you love. And what we love is our fisheries, our communities, and how our ecosystems give back to them all.
We wanted to say a big thanks to all the partners that helped make these projects happen. Really specifically Palm Beach County ERM, FWC Research, and all the other partners that came out to help us get the job done. If you guys like this type of content, hit that like button, subscribe to our page, and share it with a friend.
Thanks for watching another episode of Mang TV.